Okay, we should be good. I have Vodkablitz and Kollar here, two
Hello.
captains from previous WTC teams, as well as myself, Toast. And what we're doing is we're attempting to give a video that has as much bias taken out of it as possible to showcase the two different pairing systems, not just in practice, but also in like which one brings over the other. It was a request that was asked by one of the other captains, and just to kind of showcase what goes through our mind when we're pairing, which advantages and disadvantages are we accepting with each different pairing system, and kind of the differences that way. I guess at first glance it can be kind of tricky to really see the difference and everything. So we're gonna try and give you like a higher level view of that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through the exercise of pairing with the old WTC system, and then the new, I'm just going to call it ATB system, across the Bifrost system, from that London event. Uh, I know it was made by Ali. I don't think he has any affiliation with Across the Bifrost. I do want to give him credit for coming up with it.
Yeah,
So
he's from the London Meta, I believe.
I know he's from London. I don't want to call it ATB if it was really coming from
Ah,
Ali.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? I
yeah,
want
that
to make
makes
sure he
sense.
gets his credit, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, right now I have on my screen here. We're just in Tabletop Simulator. I have Collar's WTC team and Vodka Blitz's Simon's here, and so rather than trying to apply it to the current metagame, which is a little bit in flux, we're going to try and just take us back to
The meta.
2025, yeah,
Oh,
2025 WTC. So, and humans are there, apocalypse are there. Those are your kind of boogeymen, and that's kind of what's gonna maybe dominate some of the pairing process. So, just imagine
yes,
that it's the 2025 WTC. All right, take it
yeah.
away, guys.
All right, so we're simulating here that I have lost the prior role, and Vodkablitz is choosing to pair more, do more of the pairings
yeah.
uh, than than I am, and that means that since I am Team B, I will get to choose 2 matchups, and Vodka is Team A. They will get to choose 3 matchups, and the Team B captain puts down their first player and then presents the player's roster to the opposing captain. So what we would have been doing here is we would have been putting out Apocalypse and Savior first. And then
So
you would have put two lists into mine.
yeah. So I think here we would have put out Midnight Suns and myself, so X-Men and Midnight Suns.
Yes. And from this list, I would have picked X-Men, I believe. Which means Midnight Suns is out. So we're going to put out Wakanda. And I believe we would have put out Challenge Daredevil.
Okay. Here I think we would have picked Wakanda to go into Midnight Suns.
Wakanda to go into Midnight Suns, which means we have Shadowlands Daredevil left.
Yeah. Into which we are putting Steve 3 and or the mirror. I think we would have given Steve 3 or the mirror here.
So Steve 3 and Shadowlands Daredevil.
Yeah.
So I believe we would have picked the mirror at this point.
Okay.
And you would have picked the final 2 pairings.
Yeah. So here definitely Steve into X-Men and Inhumans mirror.
Yeah. Okay, so let's discuss this here. Did we get what we wanted, or rather, did I get what I wanted here? So my sort of my goal with this pairing process was to try and get Apocalypse into not Inhumans, getting either X-Men or Inhumans into Inhumans. Those were my big two goals, I would say. I'm also fairly happy about the Shadowlands Daredevil matchup. I don't remember exactly what you guys had in your Shadowlands Daredevil list. You had Kingpin and Shadowlands Daredevil, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yes. So I think the feeling we had versus this one was that we felt that Bjorn had a pretty good chance because he had more Shadowlands tools because he was purely Shadowlands and could do quite well with that. How did you feel about this pairing, Vodka?
I think I like the matchups overall. From the get-go, hoped I was going to get paired into either Apocalypse or Inhumans because I think X-Men is probably one of the better matchups we have against those two.
Mhm.
And I think with the WTC Apocalypse versus X-Men record, that was correct. We wanted to have Midnight Suns hard dodge Inhumans just because our
Yeah.
player was very inexperienced against Midnight Suns,
Mhm.
against Inhumans. So getting either Wakanda or CS was fine, but I think he handles Wakanda better than CS or Steve 3.
Yeah.
And Steve 3, I was fine pairing into either the Mirror or X-Men.
Yeah. So I
The
think
only one we didn't like too much is the Inhuman Mirrors, because I think
Mhm.
that's the one that's the worst for us.
Yeah.
But
And
the rest I feel fairly comfortable with.
I think I should explain as well because our Storm X-Men was pretty unique at the WTC, and it was
Yeah.
a targeted list that we in testing found did well into both Inhumans and Apocalypse, and it was one of those things where it's a list that isn't super like it's okay into a lot of things. I think its worst matchup was probably into Shadowlands because it had so much offensive power that it went over the top of the defensive cards that X-Men had. But X-Men having the cards, I think we were fairly comfortable with the matchup into Steve as well because
Mhm.
Steve plays 5 wide and he's very reliant on doing like usually it's like 2 attacks.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's 2 attacks. They're strong as hell, but that's what it is. So I mean I feel so. The good thing about this that I feel here is I had, even though I lost the pairing process, I could still make sure that we were setting up to counter one of the boogeymen in the meta, which was the getting the Storm or Inhumans matchup into Inhumans, even though we lost the prio. This is the strength with this system, I would say, for me. Okay, should we redo the pairing process in the new system?
So the one thing I did want to ask, and just
Yeah,
to highlight, is, and it's hard to say without seeing the boards in front of you,
of course.
but do any of the matchups change when you get to pick the board type? Like, I don't know if it really happens here. I think I noticed it a little bit more in 2024 when webs were brought quite a bit more. But there's like certain
So
matchups where webs are like, well, I don't want to play them, but if I get to pick the board choice and can like maybe
yeah,
make sure terrain is in their way, or if they're a heavy throwing affiliation, then maybe
so
I can just play on the lighter
I think
terrain.
I think Shadowlands Daredevil and to a degree Inhumans can be pretty impacted by the board
People.
state, but
Yeah.
like the boards. Shadowlands Daredevil brings a lot of like I know Bjorn was very happy playing Winter Soldier,
Yeah.
and Winter Soldier needs line of sight from long range.
Mm-hmm.
We know Black Bolt needs a bit of range. Doing his stuff, there's a lot of flight and like repositioning movement shenanigans in humans. But I think the big thing here is we would have looked at if there were some like skewed tables with like really big things that would mess up round one place would have been big as well. It would have affected, for example, would have affected King T, I think, because King T doesn't have he doesn't have Warcrawler. So like the Wakanda matchup could be pretty messed up by terrain. So I believe there's definitely like a big thing, and some of the table setups at the WTC last year had some really insane terrain, but
Yeah.
too many of them sadly were a bit. These are all just 5 normal tables,
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't really matter. So that's like my criticism there is that the tables do need to be set up to provide specific advantages. That is if we were playing, we were actually toying with the idea for next WTC of playing with a team of 5, just to take advantage of picking the board side, which we did 23, and I think that's something that could be interesting as well.
Yeah, I think it would have impacted us as well because I know both our Midnight Suns and Steve player had a lot of very like opportunity throws in their list.
Yeah.
Like a lot of their model had throws, tangential throws into the game plan. So like if we would have been able to pick tables with heavier and that are more loaded with terrain, it would definitely, I feel, especially into Wakanda and X-Men, given them a pretty substantial advantage.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
Yeah, sweet. So I'm going to reset this, and then we'll go through with the new system, and we'll kind of demonstrate how that looks. All right, take it away.
All right, so now we need to have this be like covered. We'll type to you, Toast, because this is the it's hidden.
It's hidden reveals, right?
Hidden reveal, yes, of the list, I would say. Give me a second. I just need to have the pairing process up.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same to make sure we're all on the same page.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see. Let me just find my documents. You're gonna have to cut this a bit. All right, let's see. Here we go. Player packet.
Yeah, I'm not making ads. People can skip through the video.
Okay, fair. That's fair. All right, cool. Let's see here. Where is the?
So both teams put down a roster hidden with simultaneous reveals. Then Team A puts down 3 hidden rosters across the one. Team B does the same. Then all hidden rosters are revealed. Team A picks one of the 3. Team B picks one of the 3, and then 2 into 3, 3 into 2, and so on until all matchups are.
Yeah. So to make it easier on you guys, why don't you both type to me what roster is
we're putting down first,
the 1, and then type to me the 1 that you're saving behind, and then the other 3 will be hidden. That way you only have to send me 2 rosters. So whichever one you're sending up first, but hidden, and whichever one you plan on saving.
This is done.
Okay, I have Simon's choices. I just need one more from Kollar.
Oh no! We first put up the 1, and then we put up 3 versus that.
Yeah, but if you just tell me, that one gets revealed first. Okay.
Yes.
So Simon, you can change your answer if you want.
Sure. I'll keep the same hidden one. That's like a given.
Yeah. And X-Men.
All right. Cool.
So then, against each of these 3, we would put down 3 of 4.
So keep in mind that Kollar is going to choose between basically Inhumans into whatever 3 you have hidden up, and you'll get to choose X-Men into whatever 3 he has hidden up. So like, because of the nature of it, Inhumans and X-Men is already a matchup that can't happen.
Yeah.
So now just tell me which one you're saving behind. Okay, so Kollar has elected to keep APOC aside. So you have these, and Simon has elected to keep Midnight Suns aside. So now you have these 3.
So now I would get to pick which of these.
You are Team B in this. No, sorry, you are Team A. Sorry, yes.
I'm Team A, so yeah, I would get to pick one of the 3s. I would pick the mirror here.
Okay. So it will storm into Cyclops. Yes.
Right, and so these 2 are momentarily set aside, and now you have.
We would have definitely gone for the mirror here.
Okay. And now Simon, I believe.
Yeah, you move up. You move that one up.
Yeah, this one comes into play.
Yep. And we would have picked. What would we have picked here? I think we would have picked. All right. So I think we would have picked Wakanda into. I think Wakanda into Shadowlands Daredevil here, or like CS. And then you get to pick the final matchups.
This.
So I think I would have put Midnight Suns into APOC and Shadowlands into Steve.
Yes.
Okay, so we have some very different matchups here. So why don't you guys talk to us about it? How do you feel coming out of it?
So
at least on my side,
you go first.
Yeah, at least on my side, it definitely feels a lot worse because I feel all of our teams could handle Storm very well just by virtue of being extremely practiced into X-Men.
Mhm.
So I feel that's kind of a mute matchup. We do get an okay matchup into APOC, but I feel it is very dicey, and I think our player not being as well practiced as we would have liked into APOC going into this event means it is a worse matchup than I would have preferred. Steve versus Shadowlands is fine. Shadowlands versus Wakanda is fine. And Human Mirror's not great, so like moved from at least matchups on paper from good to like middling, I think. From my team's perspective.
I have my big thing here is we were not able to me losing prior and getting to choose less
matchups.
We are not able to utilize the idea of Storm as a counter pick, which is annoying. I do like the matchups we were given mostly, but it was very like we basically. So I feel like the only matchup I got to choose here was Black Bolt into Black Bolt.
Yeah.
Losing Prio, because the first matchup was just putting up. That was putting up Black Bolt. That's the one I got to choose. The second matchup didn't really. It mattered, but because you took away the one like that we have that was a targeted matchup. It was harder to use this. I will say, I do not feel like you gained that much from this, which is that's a good thing. From that perspective, but it also I feel like there is less control involved. But that is probably just me. But like I go in with a perspective of we want to control what matchups we get.
Yeah.
We want to control what we're going into. So for that reason, it was harder to do using the system.
Yeah, I think from my perspective as well, like we are playing a lot of off-meta things with like Cyclops, Steve 3, like we had the only Steve 3 for that WTC.
Yeah.
And like I feel pairings here when you're not playing what is like well established and you're trying to dark horse a little makes it a lot harder because being able to pair like your tools surgically or like at least intentionally into some of the big boogeyman teams feels like you lose a lot of agency into like if you're trying to bring specialized tools you lose a lot of agency on where you can apply them.
Yeah. So I appreciate that this system. The cool thing about this system that I like is that the blind drops, the first blind drop and the second three blind drop is interesting in a like can you guess what they are dropping kind of thing. But it's yeah, I don't know. It's interesting at least. Like it feels there's more tension going through the pairing process compared to the other pairing process. I feel, but this is the way we would have been paired. I feel like the I got to pick one important matchup and one not important matchup,
Yeah.
and that's my sort of verdict on this. I don't know how did it feel for you? Did you feel like you got to pick three?
Not really. Like I think two was more realistic because a lot of the like middle of the road matchups were feeling pretty 50-50s. So
Mm.
you're like, which matchups am I willing to like coin flip on,
Yeah,
basically, as opposed to like trying to take an advantage.
yeah,
It's like which coin flips am I comfortable risking?
yeah. So I will say this. One thing I did realize from this is that there's way too few videos done on pairing processes. Because this
Oh,
is
that is
this
true.
is
Yeah.
like this is we should make more of these, I think.
I mean, to be fair, I do think that the overall skill of some of the teams comes down to pairing.
Yeah,
I
that's
do
fair.
think that, especially at WTC, there are some great,
Yeah.
great players that I that think maybe are limited by how well they pair, or maybe if they just don't put as much thought into it. That I
Yeah.
do find the teams that prepare the most for the pairing process
Tend to do better.
they do tend to do better.
Mm.
Yep, I
That's
agree.
just what I thought, and I did want to put in because it didn't quite come up, but these are my thoughts on
Mm.
the difference between the two systems. While I do think that I agree with you that I feel like instead of maybe three matchups being chosen to two matchups being chosen, this one feels a lot more like 2-1 because the other
Yeah.
matchups are kind of like they can be whatever, and maybe that is different between across different teams. Maybe
Mhm.
there are more polarizing, sets of situations where this one
I
might not matter as much. But
I think
it comes
I
really
should point out
okay.
one thing as well. Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry to interrupt.
no, go for it.
There's a big thing here in that Vodka's team didn't contain two of the boogeymen in the
Yeah,
same way as a lot of teams that we were pairing into did, and it would be interesting to see this pairing process into, for example, your team, Toast, as well, because I think this could change things a bit. Um,
Yep.
if you
I
guys are okay with that, go ahead, Toast. Keep doing that. I just wanted to
yeah.
get that out there.
I don't want it to be too long, so I'm not sure if we'll go
Yeah,
through that exercise.
yeah,
Maybe if others request it and they really are
yeah,
still struggling. But the one thing I wanted to talk about was shielding, and it does
yeah.
come up a little bit where our team was involved as well. Where, for example, in this newer system, you can really only shield one roster, right?
Yeah.
You guys both shielded different rosters, and I could tell just from being with you at the London tournament,
Yeah.
you're kind of using this shield spot as like a sniper
Hmm.
to come
Yeah.
in last to like, okay, so now like I'm gonna come in when it's time, and there's no like I'm gonna get good matchups no matter what. You know what I mean? And I
Hmm.
could leave your maybe boogeyman that I'm targeting till the end,
Yeah.
and then I'm coming in, and now you're kind of forced into it, right?
Yeah.
Something that
Yeah,
where
that's if
it's
you have prio, you
right,
can do that. Yeah.
and then the other one is like more of a true shield where it's like, okay, well I don't know if I want them to go into apocalypse or in humans, but
Mhm.
I definitely don't want to give them the choice, right?
Yeah.
So I want to only come in with this roster once in humans is off the table,
Yeah.
and where the other system is, I think that you have to kind of make that decision a little bit more across the way,
Hmm.
whereas like for example, if you have I don't know, and I could just go over briefly kind of how our team
Hmm.
thought about it because Ben was really good in the mirror
Yep.
and
We didn't want to play the mirror. I didn't want
right
to play the mirror.
exactly, and so and most times like we could put up Art's List, who was this like kind of Guardians
Yeah, it's just
Asgard
generic
generic
good stuff.
whatever,
Yeah.
and then we could try and bait out a team where they were like, okay, well we'll put like Apocalypse into it, and then maybe
Yeah.
I don't know, Shadowlands is good into it, and so then
Yeah.
Art could take this one, and we could essentially trap a list, early
Yeah.
in the pairing process. And
Yeah.
I think this is where the pairing process gets really interesting, and why I prefer the older system, because now we could say, okay, well, now you either have to go through Inhumans or our Apocalypse, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we can kind of
And
control that.
we have now stopped being unbiased.
That
Sorry.
it's true. But I just wanted to
Yes.
talk about this, like,
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
counterpunching. And while I feel that it's really interesting, there's other people that might think that otherwise, and I think that's valid too. If they don't like how this works, how you get
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of unfairly punished for trying to get a good matchup here.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah, I think
as one captain, I think that it's really cool that you have to really be careful about who you put into it, because now that person is exposed, that list is exposed.
Yeah.
Other teams might be like, well, I don't want to deal with that. I want to deal with, let me put in the two teams that I want to make you give a hard decision of, and
Yeah.
then it's more open that way. That way my list isn't as exposed.
Yeah. So I
So
think
it
one of
can go both
the
ways.
I think one of the things we have toyed for a while with the concept of two types of lists in a team setting, and we call them catchers and killers.
Yeah.
And catchers they're the arts guardians list here. You put them out, and they'll be like, oh, they don't have the best matchup, but they also don't have the worst matchup into things, and they can usually like dice themselves out of a situation if things go horribly wrong. Like they have those kind of things, and then we have like the killer lists that are built to be like, oh, and like Torbjorn was our perfect killer list because we just put him in whenever they exposed their Inhumans players, we would just drop Torbjorn because we knew he would win. He would win almost any mirror
Yeah.
he went into. So it was like, okay, so we could, and then we paired that with the Storm list that we felt did really well into Inhumans by having Savior's Dream stop Terrigenesis, for example, and being wide and being able to like just punch them, which was like a cool combo that we could drop these two into this boogeyman and be like, oh, you either have to face one of the best Inhumans players in a mirror, and he probably came up with part of the tech that you are now using, and or you face this list that is tailored to facing Inhumans.
Yeah, and building up on the catchers and killers, I feel like our team was definitely a lot more killers than catchers, and I think
Yep.
under a new system, like I know we wanted to have more control over the shielding and trying to use the way you can quote unquote force or like direct certain matchups, as opposed to just trying to paint the broadest brush strokes. So I feel like one of the differences that comes out between the two processes, the first rewards work ahead of time and more specialized list building, and the other, I think, because of its broader scope, rewards just playing more generalist lists.
Yeah, I think
And
that's a fair assessment.
That falls down to personal preference.
Yep, I agree.
So like some people like to play more catch-all lists, and some people like to play more narrow lists, and I think that's one of the arguments. I know, at least personally, prefer the decision tree that comes out of the current pairing process, where like having experience and like being confident into your players to play into certain things and dodge otherwise rewards more skewed list building as opposed to more generalist list building.
I agree, and I think that's important. So getting back to trying to be unbiased is basically what Vodka says is it depends on what you prefer in general. I think you said it well, that it feels like in one system it's you get to choose 3 versus 2 pairings, and in the other system it's you get to choose 2 versus 1 pairing.
Yeah.
Which I think is a pretty accurate assessment, and then it's more about like, do you want to be able to play like a snowflake specialized list that you're using to target something specific? Then the first system is probably better for you. And if you prefer playing more generalist lists that are built to be maybe even like they're built more like solo lists in general. I'm just trying to fit 5 solo lists into a team. Then you should go for the second, like the ATB style pairing system, because I think that's the difference between the two. And then it does come down to a matter of personal preference
Yes,
in general.
I think with the new proposed ATB style, the pairing the lists themselves are not informed by the pairing process at all. Whereas I think with the WTC system, that the way that works can kind of inform your list. And what I mean by that is, like, for example, I mean, I hope I'm not speaking for you here, but like, I don't think this storm list would have come out if we were in the ATB system. I feel like this is more of a
I don't think
product
so.
of how WTC was, where you can kind of trap those exposed lists and do that quote unquote
I think-
counter punching. Where
I
don't.
think
it's-
in general that we wouldn't have played that storm list. We would have played something else there, and we probably would have had to. We probably would have felt a need to play Shadowlands dueled with Kingpin in a way that we didn't feel like we needed now.
Yeah.
So
I feel
there's two more sort of snowflakey style.
I feel the same would have been true for us as well. I feel my Cyclops list was like very well built to deal with 3 of the 4 top meta boogeymans, so I could help shield the rest of my team for those matchups and make it easier for us to play into them, as opposed to like having to play into more generalist list. I feel the like specialized tools we were bringing aren't as efficient. And I think like one of the points you had that I think is very valid is like, as in addition to like skewering of matchups, I think the current system rewards more specialized, like, list building that is more geared towards teams, and like not only having character limitations, but trying to build on those limitations, as opposed to trying to build 5 solo lists with some characters restrictions due to this being a 5-person team.
I think that's a pretty good way of like finally putting the sort of the final point of it.
Yeah. I think we can
in how we
probably end here. I'm going to put this up on a video. I'm going to post it to the captain's chat.
Awesome.
And at the very least, I hope it gives some people at least more time to think about it. I know, Kollar, the poll is getting extended, right?
Yeah,
If it
it's
hasn't
being
already?
redone. It's being redone. We can't extend it because it's Discord.
Right.
But yes,
right,
it's
right.
being redone.
Yeah. So keep in mind, if you think you've already voted, go back and vote again, because it is a new poll. And at the very least, hopefully it sprouts some discussion. So,
yes, thank you. And sorry for veering into the BAs, but I hope we've given a view of what the both systems offer from a high-level player perspective.
Yes, we tried our best anyway.
Yes,
So,
thank you.
Hopefully people will make an informed decision regardless of our bias or not.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
I hope so as well.
I think our points at the end kind of gave a good enough overall where people can see both sides, because I do think there's merit to both sides. It's just we happen to vote for one, but that's okay. I think the other one has plenty of merits, and I do want to thank Ali again for coming up with this system, because I think it's very easy to just, even if you're not happy with something, accept that it is the way it is. So it takes a little bit of courage and brain power. There's a lot of time. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of time, effort, and it takes a little bit of courage to stand up and be like, hey, I'm going to put my idea out there and see if people like it.
I agree.
And I think ATB overall was a great event that used it. So
it was very interesting to try a different system. At least I enjoyed it, and I will say ATB got my eyes open to the endurance style event, and I'm now sold.
Okay. All right. I'm going to end it here. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.